Hello there, Rabbi. How are you today? I see the flag flying and not upside down, I might point out.
In true good American fashion, our country is not in distress.
And yet, the hue and cry is loud and goes far and wide of people flying their flags upside down and stealing elections and federal prosecution that is unjust against former leaders of this country. And yet, accusations of presidents have been going on for a long, long time. I mean, from Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe through Nixon and his resignation, presidential
Mhm.
pardons of vice presidents, the Watergate issues, everything is all the way back to Julius Caesar. Caesar's wife should be above reproach. I mean, we need to have our leaders free from any suspicion of blame because they're the people we're counting on.
And I really like that expression, Caesar's wife must be above reproach. Look, when you're a common citizen, when you're the average person, you can do things, and it may or may not be a reflection. But once you're in public office, once you're running for president of the United States, whether there's a conspiracy or not, whether it was a sham or not, how does the world look at this world leader? How does the world look at musicians, actors, actresses? I, I think we have lost sight of the fact that as we move up the ladder in the public and then internationally, we need to present an image because everything depends on trust. And that's why that statement, Caesar's wife must be above reproach, it's not about the accuracy or is there a conspiracy or is the deck stacked? Nothing to do with that. It's very, very practical. If I am the leader of the world's greatest democracy, how will the world view me if I need a phone in my jail cell to talk to the president of Russia? It doesn't look good. We want to put aside the sides and what it is and who did and who didn't and whether it's realistic. Just put that aside and think in terms of your family, your company. Do you want to buy a car from the owner of the company that's running the business from a jail cell? We don't want our politicians, our leaders. I don't want my plumber. I don't want the person that sold me my car to be accused of, to be on the front page of the paper, to be anywhere. It doesn't give me confidence in them. Just like you are watching me.
But using a popular quote from my side of the fence, let he who is without guilt cast the first stone. Isn't there something about being forgiving in terms of past performance?
I think you're absolutely right with personal forgiveness, with forgiveness from God, with how we relate to each other. But not when we're on the scene of world politics, not when we're on the scene of selling automobiles. It it's a very I can forgive and I can say, yeah, this whole thing was politically motivated. That doesn't change the fact that Caesar's wife must be above reproach. It Look at our show, Joe. People listen to us because they trust what we have to say. And if you and I started going out and doing things and people would say, what's with the two of them? Then our message of moderation, of middle of the road, wouldn't have any weight. And it has nothing to do with the validity. And that's what disturbs me about what's going on with our former president. It's not about the whether it happened, it didn't happen, whether it's a conspiracy or not, none of those things. We want to keep coming back to how does it look that this is going on with the president of the United States? Caesar's wife must be above reproach. It applies to Supreme Court justices as well. You're on the Supreme Court, you no longer can do the things and say the things you did when you were a hippie from the 60s. If that's the case, don't go on the Supreme Court.
Our heroes must be heroes without feet of clay, is what you're saying. Well, you're my hero, Rabbi, because you're always approachable and never reproachable. Thank you, as always, for the wisdom. And let's hope that everybody else gets the message one way or another.
I officiated at a wedding last night at a beautiful bed and breakfast outdoors, and the bride and groom sent out an invitation to everybody saying, please be casual and be tasteful in what you wear. And everybody was casual and tastefully dressed. And before the ceremony, I was just wearing my shirt. And I turned to the wedding planner and I said, we're getting ready. I'm going to go to my car and get my jacket and tie. And she said to me, you don't need to wear a jacket, maybe a tie, but probably not even a tie. And I looked at her and I said, I know you're right. However, I'm wearing a jacket and tie for me. I thought of just wearing a tie with my tallis. And I said, no, I want to present in a certain way. And I put on my jacket and tie and my tallis because I wanted to present as the rabbi and officiant, even though the setting was very relaxed and I felt very comfortable. And that's what I'm saying about Caesar's wife must be above reproach. How do we want the President of the United States to appear before world leaders? That's all I'm asking.